Hello, hypothetical viewers, and welcome back to Shining Force Sword of Hajya. Um, my OBS is complaining again about this encoding overloaded, which I don't know. I don't know why it does that because it doesn't seem to be the CPU usage doesn't look that bad. Well, we'll ignore it for now, and if this one gets lost, it's not that bad because you've already seen this entire battle due to me fucking up right at the end. I can feel that my laptop is starting to get very warm, so this may need to be the last recording for the day because my computer is struggling. My computer is enduring a lot of stress right now. Pray for it, but yeah, no, because this is my personal laptop, which is 3 years old, I want to say at this point, and more to the point was a mid-tier laptop when I bought it. It only cost $600. It's not a high-end machine by any means. It's a good workhorse for what it is, but it is not like it's not really meant for video encoding or anything like that. I'm just forcing it to do that in spite of itself. Yeah, we got the chest last time. And on top of that, this is if I ever post this, and it's like presumably it will be sometime in the future. If I actually do, and it ever has any actual viewers instead of just hypothetical, um, this is gonna be like a little time capsule because, dear viewers, it is it is the year of our Lord 2020, and there is a pandemic going on. And I started a new job in the middle of the pandemic, and because of that, I I don't have an office where I go to work. I'm working at home, and for the first like 2.5 months, I also did not have any equipment because shipping is really slowed down because of the pandemic. So I have been doing all of my work for my job on my personal laptop because there's nothing else I can do. I recently finally got the laptop and it finally got software installed, so now I just have to find the time to actually set it up and transfer all the shit I'm working on over to it, which, oh, that's gonna be like, it does disrupt your work, but I'll have to do that. But yeah, so my poor laptop is constantly overheating and just really on the struggle bus because of because of doing work basically. So it has to have a lot of software open that is a little taxing for it. Um, it's tough. And then on top of that, I'm also using it for like fucking recording videos and stuff. So it's just been through the ringer. Haven't we all lately? Haven't we all? But yeah, so that may be one reason why I guess I'll have her put on the ring, whatever, why not? She can be an ultra tank, but that may be one reason why my laptop is not strong enough, is complaining about the encoding overloading and why the CPU usage is a little higher than I expected. It could be because there's just so much going on right now for my poor computer. I put it through a lot of abuse even without like stuff for my job, just because like I have Unity installed on here. I use it. I have like a couple different development environments installed on here. I do a lot of things with it that it wasn't meant for. It's impressive that it can handle as much as it can handle. Um, but yeah, and I'm a very, very clumsy person. I acknowledge this about myself. I'm a huge butterfingers, and unfortunately, one thing that I frequently do by accident is drop my phone when I go to pick it up. I like fumble it and it drops, and I on many occasions dropped it on my laptop's keyboard. Once I managed to do this hard enough that it did an automatic reset. I'm assuming some component got vibrated that shouldn't have. It wasn't directly on the hard drive. It was on a different part of the the laptop body, but I would guess the percussion of the percussive impact vibrated something. It restarted and recovered fine. It has not had any problems, but that could also be why it sometimes has some issues because it's taken wear and tear. you know. It struggles. I also like don't vacuum as often as I probably should because some days you're just tired and you don't have the energy. So it probably has taken some dust to the vents just because it's in an environment that is somewhat dusty. Even though it's like it's not on the floor, I have it on top of the desk, but it's still dusty. My previous laptop, I will admit, I in the previous place where I lived, the way I had my furniture set up, I actually didn't have like a desk or a table or really anything to put it on. So when it was not in use, I just set it on the floor on top of like a book, so it wouldn't be directly on a rug. And I think that definitely contributed to it, to it having some chronic overheating problems. Yeah, I know it's terrible. I'm like, I'm kind of hard on my stuff. I try to take care of it, I do, but like you live in a small apartment. Sometimes you don't have a place to put everything, and happily now I actually do. I have an actual desk that I can put this poor laptop on top of, so it has somewhere to live. But I didn't used to. Okay, I can't believe we were defeated. Gasp! You know why you were defeated? Because your whole thing about how Solo's power hides you in the dark was not true. The entire map was visible if you just scroll the mouse around. Or the cursor. Phew, that fight was tough. I mean, I guess it was sort of tough when we split the party and we're fighting each half with a reduced party, but doing it this way was super easy. But we did level grind to promote everyone, so... Maybe she's just being nice to make us feel better. It's like, oh yeah, that was super tough, you're really strong. As opposed to being like, that was easy. Oops, I accidentally clicked the button and didn't read it. Soz. I think she just said something, I'm gonna guess she just said something like, well, people who are watching could have, if someone was watching, they would see it, but I didn't see it. So I'm gonna guess she was like, we gotta go fight Solo or whatever. Meanwhile, Ben's group is headed north in the underground caves. As you may have guessed, they didn't die falling into the bottomless pit. They just ended up in some caves. Coincidentally, they are heading towards the Algum Fields. So as you remember, Algum Fields is where Prince Nick's army was ambushed and wiped out. And Iom is laying a trap for us there, so we're heading into danger. This is kind of a nice little background music, like it's sort of like, oh, it's a spooky cave. This is also yet another cave, and like JRPGs in general, you always end up somehow in these places that are filled with lava, and yet they're not hot at all. As long as you don't touch it, you're fine. And also the lava has the same animations as water. So it's like, what is the geology that produces this? But anyway, are you certain Algum Fort is in this direction? Do these caves ever end? Wait, I hear voices up ahead. I feel like I do a different, vaguely British accent every time. I'm not sure that's even really a British accent. Listen up, the Cypress army's in these caves. Just a little pep talk between these monsters. We must stop them here. Hawkman over there! Hawkman's a new enemy for this battle. What? It's an upgraded Pegasus Knight. Oh, the Cypress army finally arrives. Attack my legion, they must not get any further. But this battle has a very chill background music, I gotta say. It's like just kind of like, casual. So this is a long winding map. If I remember correctly from playing this as a kid, and when it came out on the Virtual Console and 3DS, I think the different rock formations start like crumbling as we go. So the map will change beneath us. I've got more of these worm enemies. Got some flying enemies to hassle us. Sorcerer. And the Hawkman will be the boss of the level. So let's just head out. Yeah, I'm very excited that soon I won't have to have like R and like not thousands, but like a huge pile of Word documents and stuff open at all times because R, I feel like for some reason my computer really chugs when I have to run it. I don't know. It seems to eat up a weird amount of processing power. It feels like it shouldn't, but it does for some reason. I'm using R Studio. Maybe that affects it. But I actually, this is going to be an uphill. It's currently Thanksgiving is tomorrow, so tomorrow's a day off. But so I could just record tonight. But Next week we'll have some challenges ahead because now that I actually have access to the software I need to do my job, I have to learn how to use it because I've never have before. So I'm gonna have to learn on the fly since I've been here for 2.5 months. I'm also in the middle of doing a bunch of stuff. But every day is just a new adventure, right? Okay, just carefully moving these friends through. This battle background is nice, but it's also like it's well made and all. But I will say this isn't one of my top faves. I'm like, it's fine, but it doesn't stand out and just wow you. It's just fine. It's basically just the same cave one, but with lava drawn in. This music in the background makes the battle seem like it's hard to get too hyped because it makes it seem like slightly too relaxing. Ah, it is indeed as I remembered. Bits of the map are gonna start smashing. It's not totally clear why they're just like exploding or whatever. Maybe it's the lava. Maybe it was an ion trap. Who knows? But what you can see is that basically it forces us to take a longer path to the monsters. Because we can't go straight, we have to curve around. Alrighty. I'm gonna have to move on. Lol, let's have the wizard kill it with her little staff. Just smack it to death. Oh man, a critical hit. What a waste. Don't you agree, in games, it's always really fun to like defeat enemies with like the character that's clearly not meant to be using melee attacks. It's like killing stuff with like Yuna in Final Fantasy X, just having her thwap it with her staff. It's so funny. I feel the same way here. This is something that always baffles me in the game's AI, why sometimes the mage enemies will just attack you instead of using magic, even though they'll only do like 1 damage. I don't understand why they would program the AI like that. Maybe it's to make it easier for the player so that there's at least a chance you won't constantly be getting hit with magic, and just destroy you, maybe? But it's a little odd. Particularly when it's not like they're gonna run out of MP, they're gonna die. I guess let's... Oh, well, we're not gonna kill it in 1 hit anyway. Let's try, well, how much? It only takes 8 MP. Let's try D-Soul, even though it, like, never works. This is, May gets 2 very useless levels, Bolt and Freeze, and then she gets some completely useless ones. Her other one is Slow, which is pretty useless. And D-Soul, which almost never works. I feel like it just never works. I don't know if it's determined by your level, do you have to be higher level than them, but I thought I would try it just for the lulz. Just to show what it looks like. See, the thing is, I think it cost more in the Game Gear version. I feel like maybe it did. Because I remember that being one of the problems with it, where it was like, considering what it costs and how rarely it works, you should just cast Freeze 3. Of course, in that game, there was really no argument to do anything but cast Freeze 3. And this one on Bolt is actually the stronger spell, and she gets that too. Even in the remake, when they nerfed magic, she still has the better magic spell. Yeah, poor Natasha is she kind of gets the shaft here because, as a wizard, because her main spell line is Flare. It is a Blaze, right? And it's not as strong as Freeze. So yeah, it's cheaper, but especially as you get later in the game, the amount of damage just starts to get kind of pitiful. Particularly when you compare it to what the melee characters can do, which is a lot. Nice. And she does get Freeze up to Freeze 3, but she doesn't get those spells until later levels, so by the time she gets them, you've had them for ages. Huh, so Rhodes' weird jumping attack is not, like, because he's a gladiator. It's specific to him, because Jaha doesn't do it. That's kind of delightful. He just for no particular reason, he just has this baffling attack where he like flip kicks enemies. That's really good. Ah. But yeah, so Natasha is not really as powerful. And in this game, because of the way magic has been nerfed, May definitely falls off as well. I think Bolt will help because it's actually 3x3, so you can do chip on a lot of enemies, but it's also very expensive, and she doesn't have a ton of MP yet. I don't know if she eventually gets a lot, but she certainly doesn't have that much yet. So, you know. I use mages mostly because I really like them, not because they're really strong. Because your melee characters, when you train them up, well, they do tons of damage in one hit. So, you know, you can have 2 melee characters attack and just destroy an enemy instead of, you know, just like doing a little bit of damage to a bunch of enemies. Slade's doing okay as well, I gotta say. Okay, we're making our way through the caves. These caves filled with lava, which, again, like, I feel like somehow in JRPGs, lava, you always find lava underground, and it's not really all that far underground either. And it appears in areas where there does not appear to be any volcanic activity, so it's like, what is happening here? Why are we able to wander around in this place? We fell through a hole in like a field, just like a green field, and ended up here. Yeah, so again, it's basically as we progress through the map, different parts will crumble. And what they ultimately serve to do is force us to take the longest possible route, right? So we got to curve all the way around. So it's like a big like snaky, curvy map. It is kind of neat. Like it's interesting enough that I remembered it all these years later, right? I was like, oh, this is the map where that happens. So it is a cool graphical effect, and definitely as a kid, like, you know, it was like, oh man, is the map falling apart? We gotta hurry. Which it's not. Like, it's clearly it happens when you get to a certain spot. It's just like as you're pacing through the map. So it's just aesthetic. But it is cool and memorable, even if it doesn't really make the battle more interesting in any way. But it makes it atmospheric. So you know that works. But beyond that. That one thing is memorable, but the rest of the battle, this is mostly just like, you're just walking a long way. It's kind of leisurely, honestly. There's not a lot to it, but, you know, we're just out for a stroll with the Shining Force. Who better to take a stroll with? Oh, man. Some of the characters do not seem to have enough agility to keep up with the rest of the army. Okay. Stacking these worms. Wow, this one's gonna be finished pretty fast too. And this is 2 battles, so man, some of these battles are not very long. This may also be an artifact we just promoted everyone, so like we're kind of tearing through these monsters. I'm sure that as soon as we get the upgraded versions of monsters, it's gonna take us longer again. And there's a very cool battle coming up where we'll fight Death Balloon, so that'll be neat. That's another thing where like that map is memorable enough that I still remember it years later, the one with the death balloons. Because they look like these weird like hovering brains, so they're very strange and memorable and kind of cool as enemies. But yeah, I remember that's coming up. And I remember the one I think it's the one where Sarah finally joins the battle party. The one where we fight the giant laser statue, which is definitely pretty memorable. It's very Shining Force. It's the first Shining Force game, Shining Force 1. We also fought a laser statue. So it's classic. Okay, we're gonna see, look at these 3 are just slow. And it's not their movement speed itself, like the number of squares they can move. They just don't get their turn as often as the others, I feel like, so they just fall behind. Oh wow, that was an excellent hit. Well done, Ben. Well done. He is indeed our hero. Fighting this bishop with some lasers. dokie. Yeah, I guess Eric can just finish him off here, and we're almost wrapping this up. Oh, the protect staff, neat. I guess I'll give that to May because her defenses are pretty low. That'll help keep her alive. Our fragile wizards. The Hawkman is basically just literally a recolor of the Pegasus Knight. It's just the upgraded version. Jaha barely did anything in this battle because he just fell behind so much. Man, this is why I usually don't end up using the gladiators and warriors, like, in my final party, because they're just so freaking slow. I'm much too impatient for it, you know? Like, I'm like, let's get a move on here. Okay. Just about done. This really was, like, it was a super chill, relaxing battle where we're basically just walking across an area. Like, yep, we're getting there. Shining Force road trip. Jaha bringing up the rear. I think this will do it. Here we go. Excellent. Okay. We're in trouble. This is a dead end. So we fell down this bottomless pit and wandered into this giant pool of lava, which is just here, with no output anywhere. It's a dead end. The Iom army is behind us. Quick, we must find an exit. Yeah, let's just fucking look around. I'm sure we'll see one in the lava. Oh! Look, light. It's coming from that hole in the ceiling. You've done well to make it this far. I recognize that voice. Aha, yes you do. I'll lower a rope. Pull yourselves up quickly. Who are you? Why are you helping us? I'll tell you later. Hurry, climb the rope. The Iom army approaches. I believe this is Hild again. I think that's the guy who's secretly helping us. When the time is right, I'll reveal myself. He's gone. Come on, everyone up the rope. They just kind of have to, like, leap. Considering that, like, that's above their head because of how the sprites work, it seems like they just straight up leaped, like, 5 feet in the air from standing. Hey, look over there! It's Ben and his group! Yay! We reunited! It's the Algam Field. Ouch! This game has occasional stupid bits of, like, physical comedy like this that I actually find rather charming. They all stepped on him. That was pretty good. Aww. We're all back together. We've been worried about you. Is everyone here? Let's set up camp and plan our next move. Time to camp. But yeah, now that the armies are reunited, I believe we actually have enough people to swap in and out. And we have a new party member, so we gotta talk to her. Our new friend, Sarah. Level 5 Vicar. Healing? Healing? Oh, let me do it. It's my job. It is your job. Because she will not only get heal 3, she will get aura, which is great. Is an extremely good spell. She'll probably replace Slade because, like, Luke is also quite a good fighter. So he's kind of like just, we need a little bit of extra healing. Whereas I feel like Slade, I mean, you know, he's pretty strong too, but he's not as strong as Luke. You know, Slade is like, wow, not bad for a healer, like, compared to, you know, our other spellcasters. It's like, oh, you're kind of holding your own, but he is not on par with our strongest attackers. I guess he's on par with some of the, like, crappy ones, but he, you know, he's at level 7, Jaha's at level 1. But, yeah, Luke is just really strong. So, let's change. Oh, actually, the people left out were the ones I would have left out anyway. Saw you too, but I don't think much of you. Okay, so we still have a little time, so let's watch the cutscene. I gotta say, I actually, like, surprisingly, like, felt my heart warmed a little by seeing everyone reunite. It's like, aww, they're so happy they found each other again at last. Ah. It was in these fields that the prince was captured by Iom. But this time, because of Sarah's help, we won't be ambushed. So let's head for Iom Castle. Ha ha ha! The idiots! As we ambushed Prince Nick, we'll ambush them! Blast! Our other battalion has been defeated! We won't be able to ambush them! Oh, so is that why they had to go through the fort? Because, like, the people at the fort would have been the battalion that ambushed them, so we defeated them ahead of time to make sure that we'll be ambush-free around here? What? That's a great musical cue. Arr, they knew our plans. I feel like they missed a G there to be like arg. Instead, it seems like he's a pirate. Arr, me laddies, they knew of our plans. We must inform Barbara and Solo. You also remember Barbara from the opening cutscene as one of Warder's henchmen. She's like, has green skin and like a yellow cape and an axe. Yes, sir. She kind of looks like the devils from Shining Force 2. Stall them. We need time to prepare for battle at Iom Castle. So is Iom like a country? Because in the first game it seemed like Iom was an entity that was trying to take over Cyprus. But now it seems like Iom is a place that we're going to. In any case, isn't it nice to have a full force again? We were working with a half-size force for a few chapters here. Now we've got full set of characters. Full set of 12. Very good. 2 wizards, 2 knights, a bird, 2 healers, 2 archers, the hero, and 2 randoms. Yes, this is basically a big, ginormous outdoor map, as Shining Force loves to have. It feels a bit larger than the maps we did the last few maps. So I kind of wonder if it's like, now that the party is united, we can have a big giant map again. But yeah, the mountains will slow us down, but I feel like, we'll just like, I guess, walk through. And our new enemy is this cleric who has heal 4. So can heal up all these enemies. We have the Hawkman has appeared. So now a regular enemy, lots of the worm enemies. Now we got a stray Deadlyborn just kind of hanging out over here. And one over here. And that is all there is to it. So we will do that in the next one. So thank you for watching, hypothetical viewers. I hope you enjoyed seeing us take a leisurely stroll through a lava-filled chasm for reasons unknown. And I hope you will look forward to the next episode of Shining Force Sword of Hajya. We shall fight a battle on the Algam Fields so that we can rescue Prince Nick. All in the next episode.